Good evening and welcome to Metro Focus. I'm Rafael Piroman. One of New York's most prestigious universities is at the center of the national debate over free speech on college campuses. Protests have taken place at Columbia University after their College Republicans organization extended speaking invitations to a number of controversial far-right political figures. These were the scenes during an address given by the founder of the English Defense League, Tommy Robinson, a polarizing critic of Islam who in the past has condemned the religion as a fascist ideology that incites murder. The speeches have been coordinated by the president of Columbia University's College Republicans, Ari Busales, and met with sharp criticism from the president of the College Democrats, Shreyan Shetty. Metro Focus producer William Jones had the opportunity to sit down with both of them, and he began the conversation by asking Ari why he felt the need to invite these speakers on campus.
We brought both these speakers because of their effect in Europe. In Europe, we see a rise of national movements, especially in Poland. And with Mike, we really thought that he represented the Trump movement, especially those voters in the middle states like Texas, Michigan, even Wisconsin. So we wanted to bring speakers that represented those beliefs and allow them to discuss these ideas and allow students to challenge them, because some of these ideas are very not mainstream for this university, and we wanted to give them a voice because they are prominent, and the amount of viewers and especially on Facebook, Mike Cernovich gets about 100 million interactions per month, and that's something to be discussed. So,
and sure, and you know, Tommy Robinson has come to Columbia before. He was there in 2016. So why the outrage now? What concerns you most about these individuals speaking at Columbia?
I mean, I think the outrage is always there. I mean, these folks are truly bigots. They are the worst of the worst. Tommy Robinson has said horrifying things about Muslims in America and England, and horribly anti-Semitic things. Mike Cernovich got his start as a misogynistic blogger and moved on to becoming a white nationalist and conspiracy theorist, promoting things like Pizzagate and encouraging a gunman to come into Comet Pizza. This is not our American political system. This is not what we aspire our political debate to look like. As student leaders, we have a responsibility, an obligation to provide something valuable, something good, something worthwhile to our campus and to our communities. And this is not that. This is a disgrace to what we stand for. These folks bring nothing of value.
You say add nothing of value, and Ari's made the point that, especially at a university like Columbia, which is a liberal school, a city like New York, which tends to be liberal, that we perhaps live in these safe spaces, and that a political bubble in itself, isn't it important to expose yourself to views and not stick within our own bubbles? No,
I think these political bubbles are important. Look, I'm a Democrat from the Deep South. I grew up across the South my whole life. I get that. I lived in a conservative bubble my whole life. And I do agree, there aren't enough conservative voices on Columbia's campus. However, this does not remedy that. This is making a mockery of conservatism. I mean, if you really think Mike Cernovich and Tommy Robinson are leaders of conservatism, then conservatism has lost its way. It cannot be a real political ideology. I mean, conservatives and liberals should both be willing to condemn racism and hatred when they see it.
Ari, let me bring you the mockery of conservatism. What do you say?
So our goal this semester is to bring speakers on the wide variety on the right. We're bringing people like Dennis Springer, Herman Cain, Jonathan Haidt next semester. We're showing all the ideas of the right. We want people to discuss these ideas and debate them. I know people are uncomfortable with Tommy, and I'll condemn some of the things that he said on tweets, which I find offensive and should be said. But let's have these conversations, because some of these movements in Europe and in America are still here, and they have to be confronted, especially, as you say, they're immoral and disgusting. That's something that both of us can at least have questions about and challenge these speakers when they come.
Let me ask you a little bit more about Tommy Robinson, the founder of the English Defense League. It's an anti-Islam and anti-immigrant organisation. I want to play you some comments he made in 2013, just to give the viewer some context here. This was following the death of a British soldier. Two men who killed the British soldier and said that they were avenging the killings of Muslims at the hands of the British Armed Forces. Let's take a listen.
Islam is not a religion of peace. Islam is fascist and it's violent, and we've had enough. Not just today, God bless our troops, we support our troops, but this is the end. It's the end, enough's enough.
Tommy Robinson has also said that the Islamic community will feel the full force of the English Defence League if we see any of our British citizens killed, maimed or hurt on British soil ever again. Are you not normalising a very dangerous set of beliefs here?
But I think a lot of the people who even play this or even have this conversation are normalizing these beliefs, with giving them the airtime. I think it's more important to discuss them and challenge them and then show that they're wrong if you believe that they're wrong. By giving them light, at least you can see that the problems are wrong by having a discussion. I think that's the best way for ideas to be debated, and at the end of the day, we'll at least have a good idea of what ideas are the correct ideas. Because if we don't ever discuss them, how will we know what a good idea and a bad idea is?
Let's talk about the ideas they're sharing. We saw the protest at the Tommy Robinson event, which was stopped halfway through. Isn't the best way here to combat this by fighting it with ideas, pressing these individuals, asking the hard questions rather than just merely shouting them down?
Oh, I don't believe shouting them down is a tactic, and that's not what our organization did, and that's not what I did as part of our response to this. But
what do you say to those that did protest at that event?
Look, I disagree with their tactics, but I don't want to. But the blame is not on them. That's like blaming the alt-left for like Charlottesville. Look, you may disagree with their tactics, but at the end of the day, the Nazis and the Ku Klux Klan were the problem. And here, like, you brought the equivalent of them to our campus. And that's the problem. It's not the protest or the way people handled it. It's bringing these horrific people to campus. And going back to the idea of, like, this, like, place of discussion or debate, do you think Tommy Robinson or Mike Cernovich has never been told he's a racist or never had hard questions given to him? Of course he has. It's not going to change his ideas. And do you think the rest of us do not know how to handle racism or have never experienced it before? Of course we have. This is not adding anything of value. All you're doing is giving them a platform and giving them a place to spread, like giving them more attention than they deserve. I mean, if it wasn't for speakers coming to these campuses across the country, they'd probably have far less of a platform. They'd go slink back to the holes where they came from. They don't deserve
But these people actually have big followings. Mike has 100 million people interacting on Facebook and Twitter every month. You can't say that it's just a few people. These are national movements in different places that America and Americans have to confront. And if you disagree with them, you know, come to this event, question him, show that he's wrong.
But do you think, I mean, again, do you think no one has questioned Mike Cernovich's ideas? I mean, he said diversity is a code word for white genocide. I mean, how did that is not an idea that needs to be debated or discussed. That is a very easy phrase to rebut and get rid of. The problem is that it's not about free speech, it's about you providing them a platform. It's about you giving them opportunities and you basically endorsing them. I mean, I don't bring, you know, the worst of, like, the liberal side to campus.
Should you?
I don't think, no, I don't want to stoop to that level. Because when I bring somebody to campus,
But name one speaker you brought this semester. All your club does is fund your trips to DC. I literally don't know one speaker that you brought this semester or the last semester who wasn't from Columbia. Like, I don't think that a lot of the opportunities that your club is doing, like, we're hosting a speaker every week. Our club is bringing discussion. I don't see that your club is doing the same thing. Like, what is the Dems doing to provide these opportunities for their students, these types of conversations?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think as a political organization, we like to do actual work, and we go and we campaign and we do good work in our community, and we actually try and have a difference. But going back to your point of discussion, we absolutely have brought great speakers. In the past, we have brought city councilors, we have brought state senators.
Can you name one at least? Just name one name.
Yes,
say their name.
State Senator Squadron came and spoke to us. 5 criminal justice reform activists came and spoke to us. Robbie Mook came and spoke to us during the campaign. Eric Schneiderman has come. Of course we bring speakers, Ari, but that's not what we're here to discuss. I mean, it's not that our speakers bring good ideas and good value, and I know there are conservatives that you could bring too, but you choose not to.
But we're bringing Dennis Prager, Armand White, and the National Review. How are those not speakers that are mainstream Republicans? Our club is really bringing the wide variety of the Republican Party here, and I think that's something to discuss.
I want to move on to the safety of students, the well-being of students on campus. You said that after the protest last week, you perhaps haven't felt safe on college campus.
100%. So when I left the event, I had to go through a secret exit because I would have been mauled if I went through the regular way. They were calling me a white supremacist, a racist, a Nazi, all the things that I'm not.
And I don't think anyone doubts that that's terrible. Yeah. We reached out to the Columbia University Muslim Student Association before the segment. This is the statement they provided us with, and this is in reference to Tommy Robinson appearing on campus. Quote, threatening a group with violence based on their religion, colour, race, national origin, or any other traits for that matter is the categorical classification of hate speech. Although we respect the Columbia University College Republicans' efforts to present free discourse and productive debate, when certain speech is presented as having a possibility of inciting violence or endangering the safety of students on campus, we have an obligation to stand against it. What about the safety of Muslim students on your campus?
first, I don't think he didn't incite violence at the event. If you look at the...
Not the event, but his past comments, as we heard in that soundbite. Is that not inciting hate? And what about the safety of Muslim students on campus?
Well, first, he was not even at the venue. It was a Skype interview, so there was no possibility of him actually hurting someone physically.
I suppose the idea that if he's offering his views and then you're influencing someone on that Columbia campus, are you not then putting the Muslim students at risk?
I don't think we were. I just think that, like, when he came last year, he was not inciting violence to those students. I think we looked last year, it was a really good conversation. If you look at the comments, we had students from the Muslim Students Association challenge him, and there was a lot of value in that. And they showed that some of his points and some of his comments were incorrect. But we wouldn't have that conversation without having him be there. And for sure, he's a huge person in England. You have to reckon that. And if you don't, then you're just living your own bubble. And I think that's dangerous as well.
It's been a fascinating discussion. We're coming towards an end. I would like to get both your perspectives on this. How do you think the university as a whole has handled the situation? I'll start with you, Shreya.
Yeah, I think the university is trying to respect free speech, and I value that. I think respecting free speech is important, but there have, been incidents with the way they've handled some of those protests, some of those activists, that were not appropriate. I mean, they detained them for a while, and there were things like that I didn't see as appropriate. But again, I mean, I wanted to go back to that point about safety real quick. I don't want you to feel endangered at all. That is not, the way this should work. But again, you need to take that same level of empathy and provide it to Muslim students and provide it to African-American students when a white nationalist comes to campus. I mean, you need to be able to give that same level of thought to other students on this campus, because what they say is really and truly harmful, and it is dangerous for folks.
Ari, last word, respond to that and tell me how you think the university's handled.
So I think the university has been slow to, condemn some of the protesters have done with breaking the rules. I would have preferred that the university put out a statement saying that although we disagree with the speaker and he doesn't follow our values, we prefer that students protect the right of freedom of speech and respect it. We haven't had that statement out. I wish they did that, just because then at least we know that they're going to uphold their values. Right now, they are they're threatening to give suspensions to these students. But I think the university should put a stance on this, and they've done this in the past with Jim Gilchrist, and they put statements out about these types of situations.
Ari Bursalis is the president of Columbia University's College Republicans, and Shreya Shetty is the president of the Columbia University Democrats. Really appreciate both of you gentlemen joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.